Hello and welcome to Hurr-Ian to Florida. It's a podcast about a do-it-yourself father-son team that drove to Florida where Hurricane Ian hit to help out around Florida and around the RV park. You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. I'm your host, Mitch Miller, and we made it back. I was going to record this episode, the final episode of the podcast, last night from the hotel room, but we drove straight through to Beckley, West Virginia. We didn't get in until about 10:30, and it was about time to go to bed because we got up again at 5 this morning and drove in. But we made it back to Utica, where it all started, little town of Utica, and yeah, so that's where we're at now, and we have to unload the trailer and stuff, but I thought I'd record this final episode real quick. One thing I forgot to mention yesterday, or 2 days ago, one other thing we did on that last day is we helped get a waterlogged sofa bed out of a trailer. We had to take the feet off of it, take it apart, and took a couple different sections. It was totally waterlogged. Got that out of the trailer and helped out those people. I thought when we first started driving yesterday morning that I still had part of a splinter in my hand that I was going to have to dig out last night. But I think it was just pus in where the splinter was. It was about a 2-inch splinter when we were unloading that wood. The OSB board, the oriented strand board. It's like a board made of wood chips where they heat it and use glue to make pieces of like sheets of 4x8 plywood. The piece of that came off in the palm of my hand, and I thought I pulled it out, and it turns out I think it did. I think I got it all out of there. So that's good. So just an overview. Insurance issues down there. A lot of people didn't want their property patched up until the insurance adjusters came around. But there are definitely some total losses there. These places that were underwater, and when you get into that stuff, it's obviously natural disasters where the water comes up or where the rainwater comes in. On stick-built places, stick-built means they're built with 2x4 studs and framing, or larger than that, but wood framing. The mildew and the mold starts where the water came up will start eating right into that framing, and it grows on the framing. So you have to open the bottom parts of the walls up, take all the insulation out, and put chemicals on it to kill all the mold and mildew, dry it all out, and I guess put it back together. Now, on the joists that are under the floor, that would be the same thing. And in a lot of these tropical areas, the hot heat combined with all the moisture is just black mold and all kinds of stuff like that. So it might be easier to do total loss on some of these places than to open that up like that. But me being a painter, and just my nature is to try to come up with simple solutions to complex problems. And somebody probably already thought of this. They might already do it. But my idea is this: you have the federal flood insurance program. Why not a blanket federal legislation building code? Couldn't we come up with a coating like rhino coating? It's like a shell that's mold and mildew resistant, that seals the studs from growing mold and mildew in this type of situation. And couldn't we require all new homes built in a floodplain or where historically the storm surge has come in, require them to have these coated studs when they frame things in, and even have the contractor when he or she cuts it to length, uh, hit it with a little bit of this specialized coating uh, right where the cut is, so that it's all sealed, so that the whole piece of lumber is sealed up, and build like that. And then any travel trailers, any campers, RVs, a blanket. You could do this with FEMA trailers, everything. You could work with these manufacturers of mobile homes through the FEMA program to make sure that their studs are also coated in the same manner. And, because a lot of these travel trailers, these campers, are built with wood. They have metal exteriors, but they're built with wood because it's lightweight. So that's my idea. That's my simple solution. Because then when the waters come up, you just have to take the insulation out, and you could just wipe down the studs with bleach mixture and kill all the mold and mildew. You wouldn't have to spray specialized chemicals in there and dry it out for days and days. If it was sealed off like that, it might take the cost of remediation way down, and it would help the longevity of the buildings, and in these areas where we get these storm surges and these floodplains. I know that because it's a federal flood insurance program, that they are now buying people out or paying people to relocate when their house has been flooded two or three times. They're saying we no longer want to pay for that property. It's in a floodplain, and we're going to try to work out a way to move you to a different location. So that's my simple solution. If you want to hear some of my other simple solutions to complex problems or to problems the world faces, you can check out my my websites. I have 4 of them. Obviously, there's the Mitch4Mayor.com website. That's Mitch, the number 4Mayor.com, where you can donate to this cause, to the expedition to Florida. There is plotm.com. That's plot the letter m.com. There's almavoter.com. That's almavoter.com. And there is trafnet.org. That's trafnet.org. So there's plenty to read there of my other ideas to help solve some of the world's problems. And speaking of that, I expressed before, and I'm going to continue to express it. A lot of this disaster areas and a lot of journalism today is about exploiting images and property damage and stuff like that. And I have an idea for a platform that monetizes these exploited photographs and gets them to the property owners themselves. So we take the most exploited photographs and use the money raised from that to get it to the owners of the properties that were damaged and things like that. So if you want to hear about that platform, you can contact me through my email forms on any of my websites. I'm always looking for a good computer developer to partner up with and develop different platforms that I'm trying to create, because I do not have those skills. I have a fair amount of skills, but like I said, I've built these 4 websites using a website builder that GoDaddy provides, but I cannot build from scratch a website and the different interfaces that I'm proposing. So I could use some help. If you are interested, just contact me. The videos that I shot of just house after house after house of blue tarps on them and blowing down things and stuff like that, I'm going to start loading those today. If you recognize your house, contact me through my YouTube channel, Disability TV. I also have other YouTube channels, but that's my fledgling media company. I'm going to upload those short 2-second to 15-second videos and put them in 3 different playlists so that you can view them. One will be Florida Route 17, the other one will be Kings Highway, and the last one will be Port Charlotte. And that's the drive-thrus we did on our trip. And you'll be able to just hit play on a playlist and watch all that data from the windows of the truck. I wasn't able to get out and take any still photographs because we were busy helping out, and that was the main purpose of that. So I was able to take a lot of videos for the homeowners down there to help them come to grips with what they're dealing with when they get down there, and set their mind at ease that on some level. So if you followed along on Twitter, I haven't added up the receipts. I forgot to do that before I pressed press record on this. I apologize, but you can figure out the numbers for the grand total. I'll post it to Twitter, the grand total. But forget what we were at, 2,200, I think. So, or 2,300. So we probably put on another $300 to $400 in fuel and food on the way home. So I purposely tried not to get too political in this podcast. I have another podcast, The Black Hole, and you can find the links to that on any of my websites, where I do espouse my beliefs in direct democracy and things like that. And I want to kind of close out this podcast talking about political parties. And it seems that there's one party in the United States that is the party of billionaires. It is they prop up billionaires and multimillionaires and millionaires, but mainly billionaires. And I guess I don't really get the logic. I mean, I guess the logic is if you support and give tax breaks to billionaires, if you prop them up, that they will create other millionaires and billionaires. That's the only thing I can think is why you support these people, and I think that logic is flawed. I think that if you think about it, we live in a capitalist economy, and that's kind of the global economy, which is a competitive market economy. And so these wealthy billionaires, millionaires, they, in their mind, competed to the maximum level and achieved their level of success through competition. So they were the most competitive. They made it to the top. Now, some of them had quite a head start, but we won't go there right now. So they competed. They're at the top. They competed to the top. Why would they want to create more competition for themselves? Like, why would they want to create more millionaires and billionaires to compete with their wealth? So I guess that's where I don't see the logic in supporting these people. And I'm not saying go to the other party. A two-party system is extremely weak. It is a weak system. And I think there are other parties out there, many other parties out there, that support the worker and want to give them wealth and raise them up out of poverty level and things like that. So multi-party system is a much stronger system. Many more viewpoints get seen there. And so I just, like you have a billionaire or 1,000 millionaires, the 1,000 millionaires makes a much stronger economy. So I just encourage you to look into other parties or start your own political party and form a good, strong multi-party system. And I know people think Americans can't handle a multi-party system. They're simple. They don't want to think about their politics. They are happy with the two-party system, blah, blah, blah. Well, I think they are ready. I think even the simplest of Americans are ready for a multi-party system. I mean, I grew up near Meadville, Pennsylvania, where Meadville, Pennsylvania is equidistant from the Buffalo Bills football team, the Cleveland Browns football team, and the Pittsburgh Steelers football team. They're all about 90 miles away. And if you live in Meadville, you talk to sports fans, and they know a little bit about every one of those teams so that they can talk to each other. They have a fair amount of knowledge. Some of them know at least a little bit about each team. A lot of them know a lot about all three teams, so that they can hold conversations when they go to the grocery store and stuff like that. So I think America is ready for a multi-party system. I think even the simplest Americans are ready for it, and we can handle it. So let's do it. So I'm closing this out. I'm running a little bit over time. I just want to thank everyone for donating to this cause. And like I said, if we do pay the total bill of what we spent here from donations, we will vote on how the rest of those donations are used. Maybe I can be a storm chaser deployed to these areas. I learned a lot on this expedition, and who knows? Or hey, I'm in for the next podcast being a Utica in Ukraine. If Ukraine will have me, I'll go take pictures there and report from a podcast. So thanks for listening, and appreciate the donations, and take care.